either of unknown origin or common parts of filter systems. Yet some Russian researchers believe alien microtechnology is being placed here by interplanetary prowlers. Kenneth Arnold's sighting over Washington State is a close encounter of the first kind. The object is seen, but no more. Where traces are left, these are the second kind. Now come close encounters of the third kind, where people observe aliens throughout the world. There are close encounters of a fourth kind. In these, the witness interacts with the aliens. Todmorden, England. In November 1980, an experienced police officer, Alan Godfrey, is on night patrol.
I was on a 10-6 night duty, so I decided that I would go up to this local council estate. As I was about to turn, I saw another 500 yards up the road this object. As I got near to this object, it became apparent to me that what I was looking at wasn't something that I would normally find in the early hours of the morning in Todmorden, you know. I thought it could have been a hot air balloon that had come down, but obviously as I got nearer and nearer, I realised that this was a metallic, man-made craft. It was a nuts and bolts thing. It wasn't an hallucination, it was real. This object was 20 foot wide. It's 14 feet high. It's diamond-shaped. The bottom half of it was rotating. The top half was stationary. It had a bank of dark windows, or could have been panelling. And I got out the car, picked a brick up, and throwing it at it, I'd have probably found out whether the windows or not. The trees that lined the road were shaking violently. There was leaves and branches flying all over the place. Yet, whilst I was sat in the car, I didn't feel any vibration, and I didn't hear any noise. But I certainly wasn't going to get out of the car. I picked my clipboard up, put it on my knee, and proceeded to draw it. Now, as I'm drawing the object, I'm suddenly at the other side of it driving a police car. And the object had gone.
Gone too is a period of time. After hypnotic regression, the officer can remember more.
There's a total blackness. Then there's a feeling of floating, as though either me on my own or the vehicle, whatever, is floating. Then I wake up in a room. Now, in this room, there is a very tall humanoid, for want of a better word. He's about 6 foot to 6'6", very tall, thin, with a beard. He had a skull cap on and he had this white gown on. What happens then is I'm asked to get on this bed. Now, the questions asked to me then is, how did he, you know, he wants to get there? Because I said, well, his mouth's not moving, he's not talking, it's just, he wants me to get on the bed. Obviously, whatever it was having some sort of influence over my thoughts. Yet I did feel at ease with him. I felt comfortable with him. I got the impression that I'd met him before. I wasn't in fear of him or anything like that. I didn't feel in any danger. So I'm on the bed, and then these horrible little things come. They are a lamp-shaped head with black, dark eyes. That's the best way I can describe them. And there was about 7 or 8 of them.
Officers nearby spot a light in the sky. The constable remains convinced his encounter is genuine. Natural or unnatural explanation? Does a UFO land and search the area? Or is it an unlikely coincidence? Fireball meteor and simultaneous earthquake.
Well, I have no idea what had happened. I don't think it was an earthquake somehow. You know, I still think it wasn't an earthquake.
John Roberts isn't the only one shaken by events. Out on the hills, Hugh Edwards sees a flying saucer.
I saw this object coming along the mountain with the size of a bus, really. It's white in the middle, on two ends. Came across the mountain towards the road there. As it went over there, it dipped, and I thought it was going to crash. It dipped out of sight into the valley. Well, I'd heard so much about flying saucers, and I thought, well, this is it. And the only sound I heard of it, like a shh, going through the air. I was very surprised to see it, really.
In the village of Llandrithro, the district nurse thinks a plane is down.
I thought there might be an air crash. Maybe as a nurse we could help giving first aid. So I called to my daughters and we got into the car and we made our way up to the mountain. We drove a fair way along the mountain road, and to our left we could see a huge orange ball sitting on the mountain, glowing.
Yeah, we stopped and we started looking what we thought was going to be an aircraft on fire.
Because we'd envisaged sort of, oh God, you know, there might be bodies if it was an aeroplane crash, and we weren't too happy at that prospect, but we were quite surprised to see this big reddish orange ball just sitting there.
There were no flames and it was so uniform. The shape, the round spherical shape of it made us realise we weren't looking at an aircraft. There were no flames jumping, but it was pulsating, this red orange object that we saw.
And we could see little lights, like fairy lights, coming towards the object in a zigzag pattern, and we assumed at that time possibly there was someone going to see what was what.
With hindsight, we realised well, a search party couldn't have got there, located it and got there in the time it had taken us to go from the village up to the mountain.
Yeah.
No one could have organised themselves to get to the object that we saw.
No search party went out that night, and nothing is ever found at the scene. One astronomer takes a particular interest. Ron Madison can usually only study meteorites in the sky. Here's a chance to get information at close quarters, both from witnesses and from what he assumes is an impact.
Thinking that that explosion might well have been due to an impacting piece of rock, our first reaction was to try to estimate the energy involved.